Good morning. I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber. We're going to give you a quick look at what's going on weather-wise across southeast Texas, and we'll take a quick look towards the tropics and also across the rest of the country as well. Seeing what's going on across southeast Texas and the country weather-wise. Been pretty quiet. Looks like it's going to continue to be pretty quiet as we go through. Looks like the next several days. Probably our best chances the rain comes back maybe around Monday or Tuesday of next week, and we'll be showing you that towards the end of our talk here in about 15 minutes or so when we show you the 7-day forecast. If you have any questions or anything like that, we have a number you can call there at the bottom of your screen, 409-749-9302. I'm sorry, not a number you can call, but a number you can text. If you have a question, you can text us at that number, 409-749-9302. And I've got the phone right over here, and we can take a look at that question towards a little bit later on, and hopefully I can answer any weather questions that you have. All right, let's take a look at what's going on the rest of the day. We're basically looking at just a very warm, if not hot afternoon, expecting temperatures in the upper 80s here around the triangle, around 90 degrees up towards the lakes area. Generally partly cloudy. As we head towards this evening, we'll see temperatures dropping back down into the upper 70s and then eventually falling back into the middle to lower 70s as we head towards your Thursday morning. But pretty quiet afternoon outside of a few maybe isolated showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm that pops up. But those are going to be very random, very isolated, like I said, so shouldn't see too many of those as we get into this afternoon. As we look at the allergy report, some areas are up, some areas are down. Tree has stayed the same since yesterday at 0. Weed actually is medium but gone down a little bit. Grass is at medium, that's up from yesterday. And then mold has gone down a little bit but still at medium. So still some problems out there on our allergy report. All right, let's take a look at a few sky cams this morning. This one, of course, from Jasper, brought to you by Provalis. We're seeing about the same type of sky conditions we've been seeing the last few days. Generally, some high-level clouds out there with some partly cloudy conditions as you get a little bit farther, closer to the ground, a little bit of cumulus clouds here and there. And here's the Horseman's Western Store over in Orange on our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. And you can see, once again, mostly cloudy skies, I guess we could call it. There is a little bit of sunshine breaking through, but we have a lot of high-level clouds out there kind of filtering out that sunshine. Currently over in Orange, we're showing temperatures already reaching the lower 80s at about 83. Humidity about 75%, so it is going to be a muggy day. If you're going to be outside working or playing, you're going to be exerting yourself out in this heat, especially for an extended period of time, maybe a couple of 3 hours or so. Make sure you stay hydrated and give yourself some break from time to time, maybe into the AC if you can, or at least some shade, something like that. We'll take you downtown to our Packer LaPrade location here in Beaumont, where temperature also right around the lower 80s on our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. Humidity about the same, 71%, and then we're seeing a little bit of a south wind at about 2 to 3 miles an hour. So not much of a breeze out there to help with the heat that we're going to be dealing with for later on this afternoon. But once again, you can see generally mostly cloudy skies in downtown Beaumont as we look at the Jefferson County Courthouse for early this morning. As we won't see any rain this morning. Like I said, if we see anything as far as any showers, probably be popping up in the heat of the afternoon as we get into those upper 80s. Right now, radars are pretty quiet. We'll take a look at the radar here in just a second. But not much going on, just a lot of cloud cover. In our last stop here, we'll take a look down towards Port Arthur. This camera brought to you by Market Basket, part of the Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. And as we look towards the intercoastal waterway there, looking pretty nice out there for this morning, with the exception of maybe a little bit more sunshine. Could see a little bit more in the way of some blue skies. Temperatures right now making their way up into the lower 80s. Still a few places in the upper 70s like Silsbee, 79, Kirbyville, 78, and Woodville at 77. Well, we're looking at 81 right now in Jasper. Beaumont, we've just gotten into the lower 80s officially at 81. Now that's the airport west of town, Municipal Airport. There's where we're getting that number from. Orange at 84, and then Port Arthur at the Jack Brooks Regional Airport. That's our official temperature here in southeast Texas, looking at about 82 degrees. So just getting into those lower 80s. We're expecting to see temperatures rise up into the upper 80s, maybe a few 90s out there for later on this afternoon. Here's radar. Radar is very quiet, nothing going on. Not expecting much, but maybe a few isolated showers to pop up as we head towards the heat of the day. We had some showers and thunderstorms to our north earlier this morning. Might even saw a little bit of rain northern parts of Tyler County, Jasper and Newton County up towards the lakes there earlier this morning, but that quickly kind of faded out and moved just by to our north, so we didn't really see much rain here this morning through the lakes area. But north end of Lake Sam Rayburn, north end of Toledo Bend did get some pretty heavy rainfall up towards Lufkin. Nacogdoches had some pretty heavy rainfall for this morning with that disturbance that actually moved out of North Texas and then pushed down into parts of East Texas. And you can see what was left over of that earlier this morning, right around about, say, 6, 7 o'clock. It died down pretty quickly as it moved southward. It was all being kicked off by this front, the cold front that's pushing down into Texas, all the way back towards West Texas, and then pulls up stationary as it goes into Colorado. Still some activity along the front, or there was some activity, say, just into the hill country there, west of Austin, west of San Antonio. Looks like the rain didn't even make it down into San Antonio, just got into the northern suburbs there of San Antonio. Kind of like what we saw this morning. We had the showers and thunderstorms coming towards us, and then it died down. This front will be the focus for more showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Like I said, about a 20% chance of maybe seeing some of those here across southeast Texas. But right now, this morning, we're just dealing with some cloud cover, some of these thick high-level clouds that are kind of moving across the area. So once we clear those out, we might see a little bit more in the way of some sunshine as we head towards this afternoon. But right now, still got to deal with some of that cloud cover. And like I said, could see some more activity along that front. The front stretches all the way up in through parts of the Midwest, so they are seeing some showers up through parts of, looks like Michigan this morning, back down into Illinois. Also looks like Missouri, seeing some rain along that front. So look out towards the West Coast, dry out there for this morning, not much going on. A couple of showers through parts of Arizona, New Mexico, maybe even a few showers up into Nebraska this morning, but those are pretty few and far between. Most of the, say, Rocky Mountain states all the way out towards the West Coast, pretty quiet this morning. Then along the East Coast, not too much going on. There is a little area of disturbed weather down towards, say, southern Georgia into South Carolina. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Florida's been getting some rain the last few days. Looks like they're continuing to get rain from a little disturbance down there. Like I said, we'll talk about in a second or here or two. All right, let's look at Futurecast. Futurecast showing possibility of a couple of showers as we go through the afternoon. Not a lot of activity. Most of the activity is going to be along that front that we have out towards our west. So Houston has a little bit better chance of seeing some rain, Conroe, Huntsville than we do today. But we could catch, like I said, a few showers here and there. Temperatures climbing up to around 90 today in the lakes, upper 80s here in the triangle, and then we'll back off into the 80s through the first half of the afternoon. Through the evening, and then by 10 o'clock we'll start to see some upper 70s, and we'll stay in the 70s overnight, but we'll fall back into the middle to lower 70s by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So another pretty decent start tomorrow, kind of like what we've seen the last few mornings. And then tomorrow, once again, we'll see temperatures climb by lunchtime up into the upper 80s, and then we'll top out in the lower 90s for tomorrow. Once again, a little chance for any rain tomorrow. Got that 20% today, and then really Thursday through Sunday, I don't really have much of a chance of rain in the forecast. That will change Monday into Tuesday of next week as we'll see a disturbance come through and give us a little better chance of some rain. All right, we were talking about this yesterday, area of disturbed weather over Florida, kind of drifting off towards the north, and right now we don't really have much of a chance of this developing into anything. Yesterday, the Hurricane Center had this at about a 10% chance of developing over the next 7 days. Well, they've dropped that to 0 now, so shouldn't be any problems out there as far as any tropical systems, but it is bringing in quite a bit of rain to parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, and you can see Florida has been getting rain the last couple of days, some pretty heavy rain. So if you have a trip down towards Miami, at least through the next few days, you might be dealing with a lot of wet weather, a little bit more in the way of rain than you would sunshine. And like I said, this is all kind of drifting northward, so it looks like it's going to be moving into the Carolinas over the next couple of days. But good news for those folks, it looks like the chance of maybe any tropical systems developing are at 0. National Hurricane Center updating that just here a little bit ago. All right, let's run down the forecast, our coastal marine forecast for today. A little bit of a southeasterly wind at 5 to 10 knots, seas about 2 feet. Only one high tide, and that comes this morning at 11:38. Our low tides was earlier this morning. We'll see another one around 6:31 for this evening. Our sunrise was at 6:15, and tonight our sunset will be at about 8:14. Look for just a light chop on the inlet lakes and bays. Here are current conditions at Texas Point. Winds are out of the south-southeast between about 5 to 10 miles an hour. It's not too bad there. And water temperature has been into the lower 80s for the last several days out into the Gulf of Mexico. That 80-degree mark in the Gulf is an important temperature because that's basically the type of temperature we're looking for some tropical development, 80 or above. Not saying there is anything out there. Matter of fact, right now, the next week, 10 days look fine out in the Gulf of Mexico. We don't see any developing systems, but I'm just saying water temperatures need to be about 80 or higher in order for tropical development to happen. So our forecast for today, mostly cloudy. We'll go with a 20% coverage across the area. Like I said, what does develop will be very isolated. Temperature's going to be there into the lower 90s for the lakes, places like Spurger, Kirbyville, Jasper, right at 90 degrees. And then you get down into, say, Kuntz or Lumberton, Mauriceville, Deweyville, you'll be about 88, 89. Same deal around the triangle here. From Vidor over to China, Fannett, 88, 89, somewhere in that range as far as afternoon highs. Officially out of Jack Works Regional Airport yesterday, we got to 88, so a couple of degrees away from 90. For tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy. No rain expected. We'll see south winds between about 2 and 7 miles per hour. And then we'll see temperatures lower 70s up towards the lakes. Burkeville 71, Jasper 72, Woodville maybe 73. Inland southeast Texas 74 for the most part, 74, 75, and then 75, 76 through parts of Orange and Jefferson County around the triangle here. So looking pretty standard what we've been seeing. Our normal low for this time of year about 71, so anywhere from about 4 or 5 degrees above that. All right, here's our 7-day forecast, and right now with that slight chance of rain today, and then I'm going ahead mainly gone dry Thursday through Sunday. Doesn't mean we can't see something random, maybe a 10% coverage or less over the next 5 or 6 days, but we'll just go, or at least 4 or 5 days, at least we'll go with really not much of the way of rain at all. Temperatures holding steady, middle 70s for morning lows, and then afternoon highs are right there into the lower 90s from 92 on Friday and Sunday to about 93 on Saturday. Heat index close to 100, maybe not quite to 100. So once again, just take care if you're going to be out in the heat and stay hydrated. Even if you're out swimming in the pool, you'll need some hydration. Monday and Tuesday, we'll start to see a little bit of a difference as far as our rain chances. We'll go 50% on Monday and then 40% on Tuesday. So we could see some wet weather to start off next week, which, you know, we could use some rain from time to time. I don't want it to rain every day, but from time to time, we could see a little bit of rainfall and help us out a little bit. Right now we're ahead for the year, but not by much, but ahead by about a quarter of an inch or so. So after we see this dry spell of weather through Sunday, might be a good idea to get some rain on Monday and Tuesday. Bring up the phone number one more time, if you could there, Ryan. And we've got a couple minutes left before we end this stream. And the number is 409-749-9302. If you want to send a quick message, have any questions about what's going on weather-wise, or just have a general question about weather, we'll try to answer it here in the last couple of minutes of this stream. But for the most part, like I said, forecast looks pretty quiet until next week, and then we'll start to see rain chances come up just a little bit as we head towards Monday and Tuesday, which looks like right now the bulk of that precipitation is going to be probably afternoon stuff that we see Monday and Tuesday afternoon. We'll go back out, look at a couple sky cams before we wrap everything up for this morning. And like I said, looking about the same as it has the last couple of days. Generally partly to mostly cloudy skies, warm conditions as we go through the afternoons into the upper 80s, close to about 90. So not looking for much out there. Once again, we do this stream every day at about 10 o'clock Monday through Friday. Just give you a